South end of Plum here on Maywood. South end of Plum. We're going to see Tim's little Barrett's Edition. Is that what it is? It's in the woods. Is this it here?
Yeah. See the survey stake? That's how far the house sticks into the street.
Oh boy. And you have all this property here?
Yeah, 5 lots here.
5 lots?
Yeah. I'm the only one that come down to the south end of Plums and drive through my property.
And you got another Toyota too?
That's my first car. That's Bluegill.
Bluegill? He just drove right through your property there, Tim.
Still my property. Here, these 2 lots here and the 3 lots
Wow.
behind us.
You could do some building up here if you wanted to.
Yeah, I plan to eventually. Things more under control.
Yeah, you get old and gray. You're still on your property?
Yep.
Wow. This is Tim's property here. Say hi, Tim.
Hi.
Say hi, Mom.
This is the fort.
All right.
We're driving over to Cherry. I'm the only one that can drive from Cherry to Plum on the south end of town.
And you can do it. We're looking east. Something about that. That's the grain elevator, Maywood.
Grain elevators in Maywood. It's the biggest thing in town. See, there's 2 more of them up there.
Even got a schoolyard too. There it is.
Make a left turn right here.
What, this is Pear Street? Okay.
All trees.
Okay, there it is. This is the biggest thing going in Maywood. Cool. There's a truck with a bunch of horns on top. Well, this is the life of Tim Herman. You're on.
Timothy Herman, welcome to North Place, land of the wind ornament. I call it John Deere.
You got to speak up louder. We got that.
I see the grain dryers in the background over here. If you can look, we're kind of a grain town here in Frontier County, and it gets a little noisy when they're drying grain. Anyway, if you can look over here through the peak of my awning, you can see the wind ornament. That's a grain dryer fan blade rotating on the pulley drive shaft frame to give it its radial rotation.
So what is that? What is that? That looks like this little spurl that looks like a drill of some kind? A hole borer, or what is that? That's what it's.
That's a grain stirrer. You mean the auger thing?
Yeah, the auger. Yeah.
Yeah, that stirred grain in a grain bin.
So you made a windmill out of that, huh? Or a wind ornament?
Actually, the wind ornament's up above. That's a windmill tail fan there.
Okay.
And we got other pictures of that are better than what you're going to get from this angle.
Yeah.
And anyway, I just it's a self-organization. There's always a constant ongoing thing.
And getting wood also too.
Getting my nearest local I don't care can together. And here's just kind of a cover, you know, right now. Okay, so that's
there's your little fire pit over here.
Yeah, fire pit here, the outdoor fire pit. And yeah, it's
well, it's a kind of a cold day in January, so
yeah,
is that something you would use?
Yeah, possibly once in a while. And in the summertime, this is summer hot water heat here. Fill this up with water, and the pump sits in here, and that's the intake, and this is the outtake. And well, no, wait a minute, this is the outtake right here, and then that goes to feed hot water for shower.
All right.
Dishwashers to hot potable water. And this stumps here that are too big to burn inside, I can burn in the old trusty fire ring, fire pit outside. And stumps these size are perfectly adequate to keep a fire going for hot water and cooking purposes.
All right.
Yeah. So, we're on our way. I gotta get some rounds out of the woods, some wood rounds that are gonna go be split by a friend of mine who has the proper equipment to split these rounds when I don't. And I've got mostly loaded here on dubbage. This is my trusty.
This is dubbage?
92 Toyota half-ton two-wheel drive pickup.
Hey, it's got a 503 number on here, right?
Yeah, and it's got a manager, Louise.
Louise, the manager?
Yeah.
Hi, Louise.
Yeah, she's the manager. Anyway, so I got like one more round to get loaded on.
A little bit cold, isn't it?
It's a little chilly, but it's probably 40 degrees or so anyway, which for a January day in Nebraska isn't too bad. So I just want to put that round in there where it ain't gonna roll around too much while we take a short trip to the countryside.
All right.
So
well,
we're off and
the last trip I recall going is to the metal recycling yard.
Yeah.
And that was a real journey. How long was that? 90 some odd miles just to
about a 95-mile one-way trip.
That was another self-organization.
About 2 hours loaded. And I got rid of some clutter.
Yeah. Still have some clutter here. Look at all the stuff back here. You got a caniper and
that's gates there. That's a future fire ring for somewhere there. Caps are always nice to have, metal caps. Trailer needs a little patch job there.
Yeah, I know. You need a. Looks like there's a hole in the roof there.
You know, it's mostly hole and has a roof. A lot of people would, you know, love to have a place that's that good to lay
Exactly.
down.
A lot of homeless in this country here.
Yeah.
So you're getting ready to take off?
We're getting ready to go. We're going to get these rounds unloaded and hopefully load up a little split wood for the return trip.
All right. Hey, Louise, how you doing?
Okay, well, we're going to unload some rounds so the splitter guy over here can use the splitter to...
What is this, a splitter?
It's a splitter, yeah.
How does that work?
Well, it's a hydraulically operated wedge that you put the...
And just use an axe or...
the log here on the base of the steel like that, and the tractor got to be fired up one way. You push the lever, and this wedge here comes down, and it splits the wood.
Huh.
Yeah, wood split.
So this is what happened. You just take your this is another one of your vehicles here, Mr. Tim?
Yeah, that's Blue Boy.
That's Blue Boy. And this is Dubitch. This is Dubitch, right? This white truck? Dubitch. And there is Louise checking things out. So this is standard farm work here in Nebraska. Trying to keep a living and trying to make a living and trying to stay warm at the same time, huh? All right. What's this now? Okay. You're going to drive this and I'll drive Dubitch.
Yeah, no. I'll get the manager, she can ride.
The manager's going with you? All right.
Boy. Yeah, I'll give her something to do. Manage another vehicle here for a little while.
Okay. Any special instructions on how to drive that?
He left me a little fuse.
We're gonna do a little bit of old-fashioned battery jumping, right? All right. We're doing it.
Blue Boy says
Blue Boy doesn't have enough juice.
Blue Boy's battery is one of those charge today, run me tomorrow batteries.
All right, charge me today, run me tomorrow.
Otherwise, you're gonna be jumping me.
All right.
So. Fire Blue Boy up and get Blue Boy running.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to see if Ollie's going to fire up here. Do a quick oil check here first. Make sure that we're okay in our working range, and we are. Maybe just barely, but we are in the working range.
Of what oil? Oil is up to the top?
Engine oil, yeah.
Engine oil?
And then I'll have to add hydraulic oil here too, but
how's the battery?
Ollie to start up. The battery should be charged and it'll stay charged, but I don't know, Ollie doesn't have a working generator or something. I haven't managed to pin down all the details yet, but I just keep a charger on it.
Now what's the story about Ollie? This is called Ollie because of
Oliver tractor.
Oliver tractor.
Got an F11 loader on it, and it was built in 1952 or 3. I can't remember which. It's a row crop 77 model.
And this is standard fare in Nebraska, right?
Power assisted front steering.
Power steering in 1952? Oh.
Clear back then.
Wow.
And let's see here. Yeah, row crop 77 is the model of tractor it's called. It's got 2 speeds in the rear end, and I think.
How many cylinders do we have?
Well, there's 2 lift cylinders and then there's 2 tilt cylinders, but there's only 1 cylinder, 1 tilt cylinder on this deal.
And that's the loader, right? Whatever that is.
That's the loader bucket, yes. The tilt on the loader bucket. Now, I'm just trying to get this cap to come off. There we go.
Pour some gas?
Pour some gas in
I thought this would be diesel.
No, this is gas. It's a 6-cylinder Continental gas engine in it.
Huh.
Yeah, that's all the gas I'm putting in.
Alright, that doesn't much though.
No, I never put much in.
We're not going far?
Gas is almost pushing $4 a gallon. It's like, no, I just put enough gas in it for that moment. That's all it gets. Okay. So to start this thing up, put the mid position down to the down position. This wire here is the choke.
That's the choke
wire?
That's
the choke wire. And then give it some gas with one arm and give it a slam with the button. And keep the choke on for a while.
This is how Ollie works.
Yep.
All right.
Now I get a little.
You let it warm her up for a bit.
Yep.
Looks like your Goldie has to move.
Goldie has to move. To the port, and the dubbage can follow me.
All right.
Okay. You know how to start dubbage, right?
I'll try. This is pretty huge.
Lost power all of a sudden.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I can't push it with dubbage.
Well, but can pull it off to the side of the street if we have to.
Oh boy. A little mechanical engineering here.
Electrical problem is here. Just like quit.
There's the generator. He just quit.
All of a sudden.
It's leaking a little oil.
I got the connection going here.
There's an elevation of hydraulic fluid leak here. Oh shit, major. Look at that, that's major.
So,
something's not right here with electrical.
Yeah, I see it right. The battery.
Hey, you're going the wrong way, buddy.
Has Jared texted you yet?
Yeah, he's got his house.
He said he texted me too of this
Tractor. Okay, Tim, I was following you in your car in Dubach, and then your tractor stopped in the middle of the road, and I know that you have to go to a parts store to get a starter switch, but right now we're on Saturday here, and nothing will be open to Monday, and there is other complication to the story of, what do you call it, the fort?
Yeah, town of Maywood wants it moved.
The town of Maywood, Nebraska, is that right?
Yeah, they wrote me a letter the day before Christmas Eve and said move my building. It's 8 foot in the street and we want it moved. So
now, how long has it been there? You told me it's been at least 60, 70 years. It's a very old building.
Years, since at least 1947, most probably. Well, they want the fort moved 8 foot. Their other situation or 2 or 3 maybe in the town where there is a situation similar to mine where a building was put up and it encroaches on the town right of way, which in this case is Plum in the South Plum in Maywood. And my building was 8 foot according to the survey in the street of Plum, and it's been there since at least 1947.
Well, Tim, let me.
All of a sudden, though, it's become an imperative that they want their 8 feet back, and I got to respond in 10 days to their town attorney about making arrangements how I'm all of a sudden going to come up with $10,000 to move this building 8 foot out of the street that's been there for over 60 years.
Well, Tim, I know that houses, a lot of families moved in, raised their families and kids and so forth. They're all residents of Maywood here. But anyway, I got to tell you a technical question. We're not getting much light here from the fire, so can you kind of scoot in so at least we can see your face a little bit?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's going to work.
You want to, you know, set your chair over here, and then I got a fill light, you know, coming in. Right now, you're kind of shooting into it.
Yeah, well, right now all we have is a fire here.
I can move this stump. As a matter of fact, I can throw this other stump on here.
All right.
You still got her going there. Okay, we're gonna feed the fire ring.
Got a lot of stumps there. The board of Maywood here in Nebraska. Where is Maywood anyway?
It's in between North Platte, Nebraska and McCook, Nebraska, 1 mile east of Highway 83. About the midpoint, it's about a 70-mile trip between North Platte and McCook, down south on 83 from North Platte, and I-80 goes through North Platte, Interstate 80.
Got your dog Louise here. There's Louise. Hi, Louise.
She's the manager.
She's the manager.
And then when you go 35 miles south of North Platte, 36 miles, there's a junction there with Nebraska State Highway 23, and that goes 1 mile east down the hill, basically, and then you're in the town of Maywood. Population 331.
331, and since I'm here, I'm probably 332, huh?
Something like that.
Okay.
And since I'm not here, it's just 330.
All right, 330. Well, that's a nice even number here. I like that number.
We don't count. We're not residents.
But anyway, getting back to the house, we know that you have an electrical short in the tractor, and the tractor,
the tractor
didn't work.
Has nothing to do with the house.
No, but you were going to take the tractor and do a little demolition, though. Is what I recall.
Yeah, not demolition, just a little detachment. I attached a porch maybe 5 years ago or so, and now I need to detach the porch because they want the
right-of-way.
Yeah, they want the right-of-way, and I did put the porch on there, so I'm going to take the porch off, but I didn't put the house there, so they're going to maybe have to deal with their 8 foot of the building.
Now, they want to put a freeway through there, or is there any reason? I mean, it's already got a road.
No, a freeway or not, but evidently there's 80 foot of road space there. And the highway engineer said they could get by with as little as 24 foot with 3 foot shoulders, so that's 30 foot and maybe 10 foot for.
And how much traffic do they project that Maywood needs? I mean, so far since I've been here, I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 cars on the road.
Well, maybe on that road. You know, there's more than that on Highway 20.
I mean, I'm a newcomer here. I don't live in Nebraska or Maywood or don't know anything about it.
People who have business up.
But I just don't like the idea that they're taking a small guy like you and making you spend money to lose your land.
Well,
I mean, you told me that they wanted to buy. You're going to offer to buy, or they offered you $1 to buy it, and that's actually quite a sizable piece of land there.
They offered $1 for me to give up my property rights
because they don't want you living here.
Well, I don't even live up there. It's my property. I got storage up there. They just seems to be a general determination to blast my building out one way or another.
Yeah, but right across the county seat, you took me to the county seat of Frontier County, and there were 4 abandoned buildings that had probably been built 100 years ago, and they were still standing. Now, what's the difference? What's the difference?
Well, that's different. Towns have different people on.
But it's still the same county.
Yeah, but this is a town thing. This is a town board.
Not a county. And
not a county issue. And for the Stockville people, that's a Stockville issue. So, each community deals with stuff in their own way, and apparently the 5 people from the town council have determined to deal with me in this manner. Even though I grew up in Frontier County, and I've spent a considerable amount of money in the town of Maywood, and
refresh me. You went to the city council last Wednesday. Today is Saturday, right? Or the week ago? Actually, a week, almost. What do you say? Week and a half. You went there and told your side of the story.
Yeah, I requested for an easement of 8 foot. Request to be put on the town agenda meeting, the town meeting agenda for request for an 8 foot easement on the east side of Lot 8 of Barrett's Addition that went into Plum Street for what they found out. We all found out that the house stuck in the street by a distance of maybe 7.5 foot.
And today you got the final ruling of what the city council or the board decided.
Well, I got a letter from the Maywood board's attorney that said that they wanted me to get a hold of them within 10 days to...
well, you got it right there.
Yeah, let me see exactly what it says here. It says the village board of trustees of Maywood has reviewed your request for an easement for your garage. After careful consideration, the board has asked us to write you and inform you that they are not able to grant you an easement. Well, that's true. That's not true. They are able to grant me an easement, but the reality is that they have chosen not to. I'm sure this probably won't make the minutes of the board meeting, and they wouldn't offer a vote. So I'm guessing, I can only assume it was a unanimous decision of all 5 board
Well, that's
members.
Legal, and they don't need to vote.
No,
that's totally legal. We don't have to worry about that.
Not any shenanigans on, the legality of what they've done here. They're perfectly able to reclaim their street if they've let someone use it for 150 years. They can come
and govern, because that's
your place is trespassing, even though you may not have been the one to even put that place on there, and you may have bought that place thinking the place was yours, but in reality, finding out much later, in my case, about 12 years later, maybe 14 years later, that the place I bought was not the place I thought I bought.
Well, can I mean, I know that an awful lot of families have...
Well, let me finish this letter here real quick. It says, the reason for this denial is because the village is planning to fix Plum Street up the hill and are presently developing plans for this improvement project. Now, I'd asked for plans, and I was told that's why I didn't get one, because there is no plan. As a result, now continuing, as a result, they do not feel that they can grant you an easement. We need to discuss with you a deadline to have the garage moved. Please contact our office within 10 days from this letter so that we may establish an agreeable deadline for your removal of the garage, for my removal of the garage. So, then thank you, John S. Schroeder, Village of Maywood attorney. But anyway, so this letter is dated January 20th of 12. So to move the building is $5,000. Pick it up. It's $5,000. Set it down. And I explained that to the board when I asked for my easement.
Now you bought this property how many years ago? And
I bought by proxy about 14 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe even.
And what
I've owned it outright for the last 4 years.
Now, what would it be, worth in terms of just land value if you just wanted to sell outright now?
What it's worth is a matter of question. What I would be willing to sell it for is $3,500 a lot. I've got 5 lots up there. That would be $17,500. The December board meeting and the January board meeting, I let them know that I'd be perfectly willing to sell my property for $3,500 a lot, all 5 lots together in one parcel, $17,500. That should seem to be a perfectly fair number, but they have only responded in in the fact that they must not be interested in that, or they would have responded.
Well, they would like to spend $1, but
they did want me to sign my property rights away for $1, and when I did not agree to do that, then like a month later they wrote me a letter telling me that I needed to move this building off the street right of way foot, and the building's been there for 60 years.
Now, you've also told me that if you put up a metal building up there, you can increase your business that you work in, which is recycling. But then again, you might come into other complications of having a business in a neighborhood dwelling. I mean, it gets into another can of worms here if you try to do something else with that property other than...
Yeah. Well, to be frank, I consider it more of an artwork than business. But the fact is that I have recycled metal on that location through the 14 years since I have purchased it. And I expect to continue to exercise my property rights to continue as I have because I've done so for the 14 years. And when it comes to grandfathering, it is true that I cannot have a grandfather that allows my property to extend into a governmental entity's property. The governmental entity has legal authority to come and reclaim their...
Which was just discovered by survey just recently. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think maybe in October. And actually, I had a survey done, or a potential buyer had a survey done some number of years earlier, and at that time is when the first that I knew, after about 8 years of ownership by proxy, that the house was even, or as far as anybody knew, that the house was 8 foot, actually 8 foot into the street, or the garage.
Now, we've always been understood by this country that our freedoms and our rights to develop and conduct our businesses and deal with our property in a manner to which we have free control over, withstanding, other types of restrictions, let's say environmental, or, you don't want to put a big type business right inside of a city. I mean, there's other people around that live there, homes and things like that, and they have their own concerns and their own rights. But generally speaking, we pretty much have the freedom to do what we like in this country, right? And we're right now smack dab in the middle of the country. I mean, really smack dab. South to north, east to west. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, well, I put time in service, in my particular case, the Navy.
Yes.
5 months in one stretch with no liberty, not because I did anything wrong, but because I signed a dotted line and volunteered to go into the Navy during the Iranian hostage crisis, which case I was off the coast of Iran and didn't see another woman or land or set feet on land for 5 months. And I did that to protection of people's property rights, mine and the Maywood town councils and all the rest of the people in Maywood who have property, and and beyond to the United States of America real estate basically situation. So I take those pretty seriously, having given up what I've given in 6 years of service, kind of put Tim Herman's life on hold for. Now
that was when you were in your early 20s, right?
18 to 24.
Okay, that's pretty standard for.
About the day after, 2 days after high school, I was on my way to boot camp to get my service obligation that I felt was personal, not a legal thing or anything, and it wasn't. But I did volunteer and I did do the service. And I, at the time, thought that was 4 years, and wound up that because I was able to make it through nuclear power school academically, that my agreement for service of 4 years was actually turned into a 6-year agreement because I evidently agreed to extend or 2 years at the time of the signing of the contract, which was a totally different scenario than the recruiter and the signing administrative petty officer at the time in the Navy.
So in a sense, you met more than the minimum requirements to enter the military service.
I'm saying I put 2 years longer in the Navy than I ever thought I was agreeing to commit to.
Because usually if you sign up for, 4 years or 6 years, 6 years like if you joined the reserve, but you were active duty for 6 years.
Yeah, when, for all intents and purposes, my plans were for a 4-year hitch, and because of contract and recruiter sleight of hand became a 6-year hitch because I was not willing to flunk out of my training and wound up becoming a nuclear electrician against my will.
But you are a nuclear electrician.
I am a nuclear electrician, or was in the Navy for 4 years anyway, that I was on the ship, the qualified one. And I did that basically against my will. I wrote a letter to the Chief of Naval Operations requesting to be disenrolled from the nuclear power program, and that request was basically, well, we don't care what you say or feel or want. We spent a lot of money finding you, and you were capable of making it through the academics and get through nuclear power school, and therefore your request to be disenrolled from the nuclear power program and able to do 4 years, as your recruiter had explained to you, instead of the 6 years, which we're kind of tricked you into, that you're going to do the 6 years unless you fail out and flunk and then go be a boatswain's mate, in which case I could have got by with just doing 4 years.
But you served on an aircraft carrier and so forth. But I'd like to turn the conversation back to your present situation and what your future plans are, and what do you think your terms of agreement will be with Maywood City Council?
Well, to tell you the truth, after you get a letter the day before Christmas, when you've been talking with a town entity for a period of 6 months, and all of a sudden you get a letter from their attorney the day before Christmas, 6 months later, with no hint from them that you must move your garage 8 foot, or in this case 16 foot, because you need an 8 foot setback off of the public right-of-way of Plum. That it kind of, when I'm just trying to pay my property taxes and, and have enough to eat and stay warm. Moving a garage that I'd purchased 14 years ago to 15 years ago in good faith, picking it up and setting it down, and it cost $10,000, wasn't exactly in my budget, and I'm not sure what.
Well, it's like, we have a fire going on here, and you're really keeping kind of warm here, and that's kind of like the basic human right to keep warm, and we are certainly doing that here in Nebraska, keeping warm here.
You're a prisoner, and then keeping people cold if you're a prisoner.
Well, that's another story.
Physical abuse of power. That's another story.
Right.
But nevertheless, keeping people cold seems it's a constant something you gotta watch out for.
Exactly. Well, Tim, I'm probably going to get running down of time. I don't know how much time I got left to talk to you here, but there are some things that we have these things that if they cut off, let's say 8 foot, let's say they take a chainsaw and cut off 8 feet of your house, and then you've always been telling me, or at least you've been telling me the last week or so, that hey, you can take your 8 feet, take it away, I don't care, but just leave my house intact. So, it doesn't seem like, if you cut off 8 feet, let's say take a chainsaw or a sawzall and cut it off straight, and we're looking at inches and that sort of stuff. What would support the house if you took 8 feet off the front? Yeah,
well, I got a second letter after my request for an easement was considered by the town council and rejected, that I need to contact their attorney within 10 days from when I got the letter, which was today, and today's the 21st of January, so by the 31st I need to contact them and work out a plan and an acceptable date for me to move my building. So like I said, I don't have 10,000, and I don't see 10,000 coming my way anytime soon, or even in the foreseeable future. So, and I've offered the property for sale, and they don't want to buy it. So I, got to call the attorney here probably Monday afternoon after I get the front porch off, and say that, I have no way to assume responsibility for your building that's on the street. You've all made it pretty clear that when I bought my property in good faith, that I just bought Lot 8 of Barrett's Addition and not the 8 foot to the east of Lot 8 or anything that's on it, because if I had put that building there, that might be my building, but that building's been there for 60 years or better and bought and sold at least 3 times, and it wasn't me or even the previous 1 or 2 owners that had put that building there. That building has been there for 60 years or better, and so I can't assume responsibility for your 8 foot of the building, and I don't really care what you do with it because I can't. I don't own that, and you've all made it very clear that you're not going to allow me to own it because you've denied me the request for my easement that would allow me to maybe own it.
Well, let's see. Let's assume, Tim, that worst case scenario, they come in there and they chop it off. Then then we got a building that's not really freestanding. They may as well just demolish the whole house. But then again, who's going to pay for it?
Yeah, well, that's what I explained to the city council, that I'm here to defend my building, which isn't anything that any one of them doing. And I pointed that out, that if it was their building facing destruction, that they would probably all do something to defend their building from being destroyed. And that's all I was trying to do, and that I didn't want to be confrontational. But at the same time, I'm not just going to allow my building to be destroyed willy-nilly because 5 people who are legally the town of Maywood have decided they want to do that. So my property rights and my grandfather rights on my property, as far as I know, do go up to my property line. And I'm standing on them. And that's why I have to explain to their town council here this next week before I try and leave for Portland, but I don't even really know what I'm going to do facing this situation right now. And that we got to try and figure out how Maywood's going to divorce their 8 foot of the building without me suffering any damages, because I'm not willing to suffer damages, and I'm standing on my property rights up to my property line at Plum Street, which is 8 foot short of the east edge of my building.
Well, Tim, we're going to have to leave it here, and any final comments here as we're sitting here by the fire and enjoying a little heat here. The fire is dying down, at least the flames are, but it's still pretty hot. Anyway, this is Saturday night.
Stay warm.
Thank you.